Good evening. Boy, I had a scowl on my face there. Well, it's because of the show today. I have to put up a warning. Um, the video I'm going to show may not be suitable for all viewers. What is this? It's weird x-rays. People that have done weird things to themselves. Um, but because of I'm showing the actual x-rays, they want a warning. So it may not be suitable, and if this isn't your piece of cake, you may not watch the show, but I give it a chance. Yeah. So, hey, Susan. So, if you're looking for the last part of the corruption files, that will be tomorrow. We have William coming up on the next hour with the news. So, I say stick around, take a look at this stuff. I mean, when I seen it, I was like, yikes. Now, get this. When I was at Beale Air Force Base, this is in 86, 87, we got um, x-rays given to someone I know that worked at the emergency room. And this guy come in with a knife in his head. And we got the actual x-rays. So that's what this is all about. So, I have to kind of, um, I got to really be very careful with tonight's show. Now, to start off with, we have, um, oh boy, um, how many police, uh, how many police have been cut from the departments? Lots of them. And now we're starting to see that the gang members and also others are piling into cars, baiting cops just to beat them up. Well, we're having a lot of good Samaritans that are saying, no, this isn't right. Um, oh boy. And sorry to say, my computer still isn't working. But wow, looky there. All right.
Into action to help a California highway patrol officer who was being attacked. Now, this happened Friday in Santa Ana on the Main Street on-ramp. Officers reportedly had stopped to talk to a man who was yelling at drivers and trying to remove a freeway sign. They gave him a verbal warning, but then he attacked one of them. That's when three different Good Samaritans pulled over just to help. They pulled the suspect off the officer and then held him while he was arrested. The CHP says records show the suspect had been released from jail just the day before.
So you're hearing that? Wow. Um, that's why I had the scowl on my face. I couldn't believe that they would let them go. But this is what the blue states are doing. They're allowing major crime to happen. And this has been going on not only in Santa Ana, but it's happening in LA, it's happening in San Diego, Sacramento, uh, Seattle, Portland, New York City, Chicago, Columbus. Anywhere that has cut their police department, we are now seeing what they call bait, where they bait a cop to pull them over, and then three or four people jump out of the vehicle and beat the cop up. Well, folks, I got to say, when I looked at what is going on and what's going on YouTube, folks, don't think this is a major pandemic. I want to say this is about 1% of what's going on in the country. Most, they're saying 90% of the country do not believe in police brutality. So, of course, they're going to throw it on YouTube. Of course, they're going to throw it on Snapchat or TikTok, or because it's fun to watch, they say. Is it? Is it fun to watch a police officer being beat up by a car full of gang members. And what is the outcome of this? That was my question. What is the outcome? And when I've called on police, uh, city council, mayors, they don't want to say. Now, I didn't call it for my state because my state isn't doing this. I called New York, I called Chicago, I called LA, I called San Diego. Why is this going on? They have no answers. Oh, we'll take your question and we'll submit it. And then they say they'll respond to me within 24 to 48 hours. They're not responding, folks. Why? Because this is allowed. And many of the same cities have cut their police departments by 50% to allow crime to happen in our cities. I wouldn't live in California, Nevada, because how stupid is it someone to move to Nevada thinking they can escape California when it's blue, when it's Democrats? Dumb decisions. What about Columbus, Ohio? They have passed so many laws that gave criminal rights the way, same as Chicago, New York, New York City, even Orlando, Jacksonville, and in Florida. It's going on across the country, Atlanta. All of these are blue states. Why are they allowing criminal activity? And nobody asks them. That's why I'm asking you tonight to call them. It doesn't matter if it's in your state, call them. Call them up. They say, well, you're not my state. Say, so what? They are making a vote for as a whole. Now realize when they go in Congress and Senate and they vote, they're voting for the rest of the country. Who says that's just for their city? It's not. And you remind the people that answers the phones. Yeah. All right. And I want to get on to the man who is accused of 183 car accidents to cash in on insurance, gets arrested. The hospital is also nabbed. How many times have you heard of this brake thing that they'll get in front of, they'll have two cars, one will cut in front of them, one will slam on the brakes, and all of a sudden there's an accident that's happening. Well, they caught them. They finally caught a ring of, I'm going to call them terrorists. Because, well, who do they go after the most? The truck drivers. Yeah. Now, how right is this? So now they finally caught him. The only problem is they caught a hospital and a doctor that was a part of this scheme. And so, of course, they only did it in this city because they're still trying to get other doctors, other hospitals. The group received nearly 1.3 million in insurance money, according to police. Now, this not only happened in Korea, but it's happening on the States. A special act on insurance fraud prevention. Local news basically has now started to report this. 151 accomplices who were with suspect at the time of the accidents. Now we've heard about this, but we've never heard that anybody's ever been charged. Well, now we have, because they're traveling in groups. They're going town to town, or even those in a certain, like Columbus, or let's say Sacramento is big on this. You brake check. You brake check, and they get someone to pull in front, brake check, hit the car behind them that's with them. They slam on their brakes, and the truck driver with millions of dollars with the company they belong to hit the back of the car. Well, now they're starting to find because these guys in the second car were being injured, we're now starting to see padding, padding in the trunk, padding. They have padding in the trunk, all the way up almost to where the rear view mirror is, of padding to where it's not going to hurt them as bad. Well, they've been busted out, not only in South Korea, Asia, they've busted them out in the UK, and now the UK, the United States, has now found where they are doing it here. Well, we knew this. We've heard about it. How many videos have you watched that said they do this brake check? How many insurance companies paid out to brake checks? Wow. Philadelphia, I bet's got it too, Karen. Yeah. All right. So I do want to get on to um, this these X-rays, folks. I tell you, when I started hearing these stories, I was like, well, yeah, I heard about one that went into Beale Air Force Base with a knife in his head, and the man walked in. He drove. He drove himself. And then there was another one where a gentleman had shot, was pulling his gun to shoot a deer, road hunting, and the gun went off underneath his chin. And he went into Beale Air Force Base walking, and they had him sit down. They said, "Oh my God, sir, this isn't good." And so you'll hear today the stories and why sometimes those that have these accidents, why they survive it. Boy, this is going to be fun, folks. Karen, are you ready for this? Oh boy, yeah. I hope Karen's ready for it. Um, and let me see if I can pull this up. Boy, when I did this, I thought, how am I going to get the video? How am I going to get the pictures? Well, I found the pictures. I went to the site that it described all of this. I wanted to make sure this was true. I don't want no fake news crap. So I made sure that there was news articles for every single one of these stories. And then when I pulled the stories, I went and I found the X-rays. So this is going to be something very. I think you guys are going to enjoy this. I really do. But I do have to give a warning that this is not really acceptable for all viewers. Many viewers may. Um, oh boy, let's go back. I have to go back to the warning, because if I don't, YouTube will get me. Facebook will get me. They'll hit me up with, you're not 10%, 20, 50% of your viewers aren't going to see you no more. Yeah. And now they totally cut me off. Yeah. So I do want to show this. Oh boy. Yeah, it's going to give me heck. Um, Warning, the following content may contain elements that are not suitable for all audiences. According to viewer discretion is advised. Please, all it is X-rays. All it is X-rays. It's nothing. I don't think you guys have seen. I think you guys have seen worse on YouTube, or even some of these sites. Oh boy, come on now. Let's see if I can get this. Um, oh, come on now. Uh, I'm trying. You just give me a second. As you can see, I still haven't got this fixed. Um, and it's sad because, even my computer guy is unable to get to this to where we could get this fixed. All right, let's see. Oh, there it is. Now, warning, folks, please. And don't hit me up later saying, oh, I watched it and it really upset me and I can't sleep. And don't hit me with that. This is a warning, and this is a warning for not only Facebook, it's a warning for YouTube. The following content may uh, contain elements that are not suitable for some audiences. This is crazy, but I have to do this. All right, so um, let's get right to it. Um, Imagine going for a routine checkup only to find out there's something not so routine lurking inside you. X-rays have uncovered the most bizarre, unbelievable X-rays ever. Medical doctors have been left completely in gobs. Odd, jaw-dropping moments when they take a look at some of these X-rays discovered. Join us as we take a look at some of these today. Now, Now, now imagine yourself in the hospital room, lying in bed with stomach ache that just won't go away. But you know what is ailing you. But you're not going to tell the doctors. Why? Because you're a little bit embarrassed. Why would you be embarrassed? Well, let me get this going. And I done gave you the warning. All right, what do we got here? Yeah, forks, knives, spoons. Yeah, who would swallow that? Now, there's this woman with a stomach ache. It just won't go away. And the nurse walks in with an x-ray machine. Moments later, she is startled and shocked. So is a doctor. 78 pieces of cutlery inside your body. She just couldn't quit. She was eating and she just wanted to eat. She just wanted to eat silverware. Really? It looked like like a metal detector gone wild. It was clear that she had been suffering from some sort of obsession. And the last time she sat down for a meal, she would ignore the food and eat the cutlery. Yeah, she wanted that knife. She wanted that fork. She wanted that spoon. Can you imagine eating your utensils with your meal? Doctors say removing, guess what? How many? 78 pieces of cutlery from Margaret's stomach. It was like magic trick gone wrong. Margaret was free from her pain, but that's good news. But they urged her not to swallow and eat silverware. Wow. What do you think of that one? All right, next one's even better. Um, because we let our kids play with so many. Those with grandchildren, pay attention. because we just don't pay attention to what our kids are eating. Oh boy, look at that x-ray. What is that? Believe it or not, magnets. Steel marbles and magnets. Have you ever heard of a case where a child swallowed something that turned out to be more dangerous than any child could have ever imagined, as well as the parents? It occurred to Haley Lentz, a curious and playful 8-year old who recently had a close brush with danger one day when she had a magnetic building blocks, placing steel marbles into magnets into structures with care. But as it turns out, she was wanting to pop a few and swallow a few. Well, what it did is when you do magnet to magnet, it'll rip your stomach out. And she didn't realize this. And the doctors were shocked when the x-rays showing Haley swallowed 20 steel marbles or more. 10 magnets, which had caused 8 tears in her intestines. It's amazing that she's still alive. What did they do? Well, they removed them and she was okay. She did survive it. And what they did was the family sued Mega Brands and demanded they recalled all their magnet toys. How many kids do you know that's going to stick things in their mouths? Those are all magnets, folks. Wow. And the family said they seen her swallow them, but they thought it would just, like coins, come out in the poo. It didn't. They got stuck. Why? Because she had swallowed so many that the magnets were connecting with other magnets. Wow. Yeah, you have to keep an eye. And then this was what, an 8, 9-year-old kid, 10-year-old kid, 11-year-old kid. Is it the manufacturer's problem or is it parents not supervising the kids? I think it's both. All right, I got to go on to the next one. I'm going to show you the picture. And there, of course, there's a story behind it. All right, look at, oh goodness. Guess what that is? It's a drill bit. Oh, yeah. So accidents do happen, folks. Yeah. Ron Hunt, a construction worker known as the Miracle Man Ron. It'll leave you in awe because it's a strange, unbelievable tale. That the magic of an X-ray on that fateful day, Ron took a tumble from a ladder while working. He landed face first on a drill, but instead of becoming just another statistic, he emerged and now renowned Miracle Man. It pierced through his skull, and Ron's friends and family were shocked when they arrived that this 18-inch drill bit piercing his head. But the real shock came when the doctors examined the x-rays and the human's body resilience and the skill of medical professionals and x-rays would show that the drill had miraculously missed all of his major brain structures, leaving Ron able to remove the bit without causing any brain damage. Wow. And you say, where'd you get this from? It kind of looks fake. Well, I got this from weird videos of x-rays. And I went through and I looked up a lot of the top weird x-rays. And then, of course, I don't want to get copyrighted. I went and I had to look up each individual ones and use the ones they did. And so this is about the angle it went through. So you could see it missed major organs, the eyes, the mouth, maybe a sinuses. But yes, this is a true story. Wow, you guys ready to go to the next one? Oh, I knew you guys would like this today. This is something different. Susan, what do you think? Karen, what do you think? I didn't tell Karen about this. Now, William knows, and I let him know I'm going to do some weird stuff today because, you know, every once in a while, even Justice for All wants to show you stuff that's in the news that's weird but true. All right. Here we go with the next one. What do you think we got next? Yeah. And these are actual X-rays, folks. All right, now we got a wedding ring. Okay, so can you imagine you're dating this man and you've been dating him for a long time and you guys go out for ice cream a lot and shakes. And so he decided to take her out for her favorite shake. And as he pulled out the ring, and she was uh, took a bite, it basically hit the ring fell in the ice cream. She ate the ice cream with the ring and it ended up in her stomach. How weird is that? How many times have we heard of things swallowed that shouldn't be swallowed? Well, this one was, and it was one of the top stories for an engagement ring that was swallowed. Wow. All right, let's go on to the next one. I know you guys are waiting. There's plenty more. You're like, nah, forget the ring. We want to see something bigger. All right, so, oh, yikes. Now look at this one. Now, I got to scroll up through it. Now, this was on a construction job handling a nail gun. In a split second, everything changed as he stumbled and hit the trigger that sent a nail into automatic mode. And the x ray would show a shocking nail. But not only that, but there was more. There's another gentleman that same thing happened, hit the safety. Well, I'm thinking the safety wasn't even on, and he shot so many nails into his head that it killed him. So I want to go through and I want to show you this. So this was a big nail with the first guy, but how many does it take to kill somebody? There it is. This is the guy's skull. They say a half a dozen nails entered his brain, and this guy didn't live through this. And that's what happens when you turn the safety off on a nail gun and you drop it, it starts firing, folks. These are just, it's like a machine gun. Maybe some may hit me up with construction saying it isn't possible, but I did check with a few and said if you turn the safety off, it'll fire as many nails as you want. Yikes. Yeah, keep the safety on till you're ready. Oh, yeah. All right, here we go. On to the next. All right, now this guy here. Now, I have this later on because I couldn't find the knife for this. Um, and, I wish I could have because we seen this in California at one of the Air Force bases where a guy came in with a knife stuck in his head. It was also, like I said at the beginning of the show, where a guy accidentally did a shotgun blast that went through his chin. And get this, the bill of his cap was blown out, and he drove himself to the hospital. Um, so this here shows you for this next story. Um, and you thought the nails were bad. Um, um, this one here. Now we have this guy, his friend decided to play the hero and stop a robbery on a bus. The outcome was not what they expected because the guy ended up with a knife, a kitchen knife. They say a butcher knife stuck in his skull and above his eye socket. And And weirdly enough, he drove himself to the hospital. And they said it didn't hurt anything or damage any of his brain tissue. It didn't even affect his eye, and they were able to pull it out. And they were able to remove the X-rays. So, wow. And so that there's another one coming up with another a guy that with the same thing, a knife in his head, and I use the same pictures only because I couldn't find the originals. All right, so what about this guy? Oh boy. Um, this guy here was having a meal. I don't know how true this is. I kind of wonder if he wasn't out with a bunch of buddies that said, "I dare you." Quite a few of these I said. Uh, I think it's a bunch of kids saying, "I just dare you." This guy was munching on a delicious meal when he suddenly realized he needed to clean his teeth, but no toothpicks. So he used toenail or nail clippers to do it, and it was lodged. The scissors, he tried to cough them up, it only made things worse. And down into his throat, it was a tight spot. And they only had a matter of hours, they said, to get it out before it would have um, basically could have killed this guy. Don't pick your teeth with scissors. Those little ones, cosmetic scissors. Um, so they said he was 30 minutes away from dying if they didn't get in there and freeze his throat and take these clippers out. Wow. All right. Are you guys liking this? Put down in the comments which one you like. You know, this is something unusual that Ellie normally doesn't do, huh, Karen? All right, this one here. Now, I heard it's like the plastic fork. Now, what I heard was this lady, she was in a room that was infested with cockroaches, and they lunged. She swallowed one, a cockroach. So now I'm thinking this is a whole student thing. So she heated up a fork, she shoved it down her throat, and maybe caught the cockroach. Wasn't no plastic fork, folks. And this is what they gave me. I was like, no, that's a plastic fork. Well, when she got there, get this, the cockroach not only caused, it was still alive and caused damage to her digestive tract and stomach because it was eating everything. It was still alive. But the fork was with it. It was like it was dragging the fork with itself to cause more damage. So this doctor had to go in, and he said he'd never seen anything like it. When they removed it, the fork was there, and so was a cockroach, still alive. Yikes. I was like, oh, that can't be real. But then I did find articles that this was actually true. Oh, okay. All right, let's move on to the next one. Are you guys liking this? Put down in the comments or hit your thumbs up there. All right, so this one here. This is at the airport. They scanned this lady's bag, and lo and behold, there was a body in it. They opened it up, and a kid pops out. And she said, she admitted that there was a gentleman that was over in Italy that his son was being blocked from him. And there was no way to get him to the father. So one of his servants came to America, put him in a suitcase, and was going to get him there to his father. And this is what they found. They opened it up, and the kid popped out. I know we hear of things that shouldn't be in your suitcases, but sometimes it's chicken, and sometimes it's especially down going into Australia, they don't allow a lot of foods. But lo and behold, whoever expected the kid to pop out alive? Yeah. And so, of course, she was charged and fined by the airport, and so was he for human trafficking. Oh, wow. All right, let's go to this next one. All right, so this, now you see this one and you're thinking, oh, wow, this is a kid's head. He got a hold of his parents' keys. He's running around with them. He trips, he falls, and it goes through his face, through his nose, into his brain, and this is what we got. The kid did survive, and he didn't have any lasting damages. But it just goes to show you when a kid's running with something, take it away. I don't care if it's a toy, anything. Keys, look at that. These are just keys that went up through his sinuses, through his mouth, and into his brain. And unfortunately, it didn't go that far to where they got it back out. They say it went to the bottom of, the lower, the bone, in between your bone and your eye, and it didn't actually blind him. Wow, we got a lot of stuff on don't let your kids have, huh? All right, here we go. This is a great show. Um, Tonight, I really think this is a big wake up call. Okay, what about this one? How many times? How many times have you heard surgeons leaving stuff in people's bodies? Oops, we didn't know it was there. Now this was a set of. Now it wasn't really forceps; it was scissors. And this lady, they made her go a year in pain. She was hurting so bad. It's like me with my elbow until they finally found out it was broken. Um, and so this lady here, after a year, she finally gave up on the surgeon and went to a general practice. He took X-rays and he found not only just a little set, this was a huge set. This was a big set of not only forceps, but um, um, uh, uh, well, I don't. If I had my notes in front of me, I'd tell you. Anyway, these are scissors, scissor forceps. They said are the biggest that are made in the hospitals to be able to clip. Like when they hold they clip your vein and then they cut it with these big things. Well, they left it inside her. Oh, okay. Let's keep going now. As I don't want to run real far because we got William's show coming up. All right, this one here. This is the other knife guy. Here's the other knife guy. And this one here was on a bus. And gang members charged him and they stabbed him in the head and they took his things. And of course, he went to the hospital and said this missed his eyeball. It went through and not, it didn't affect the brain. It didn't get into brain matter, but bone. And they were able to take the knife out. Now, this is two knives. There's more, folks. There's more of these that people think they could stab people in the head and they survive it. Ugh, yikes. Now, this one here, this guy here, and I don't know why he didn't go to the hospital. He said he's a construction worker and he was nailing something and the nail gun slipped and it went through the roof of his mouth. And he couldn't feel anything up there. He thought maybe the nail had fell out. But it was a 2-inch nail that went from the roof of his mouth, missed his sinus cavities into his brain. They were able to pull it out with no damage. So far, the only one that hasn't lived, folks, was the guy that dropped the nail gun and it was firing, and this guy had 6 to or even more nails into his brain. Now this one, he didn't die. He lived. All right, this last one. Now this was a kid that, now we have kids that do a lot of sporting events, and I'm all for kids in archery and shooting, learning how to do a shooting, to shoot a gun uh, carefully and the right way and lawfully. Well, this kid was part of a bow competition. That is an arrow. And when he shot it, it bounced and it hit him. And this kid was 7 years old, folks. And it went through, and they said they went to X-ray it, and because of the way it was sticking out, it would block the MRI machine. So instead of looking at the finer details, they decide to go ahead and pull it out and deal, and then get X-rays really quick, or MRIs. Come to find out, it really didn't hurt anything. It did a little bit of brain damage, but now this kid is in 17 years old and doesn't have a bit of problem. They thought maybe it went through his eye, but when it did go through his eye, it didn't hurt or blind him on this eyeball. When it went to the side, it went through his brain. And to this day, you know what? He's one of the top marksmen for bow hunting for juniors, teenagers. So there you got it, folks. Boy, what do you think? Um, I'm gonna say, put uh, your favorite one in the comments and share. And we did the cop, we did the 183 uh, car um, brake test that this guy did, and he ended up getting caught. Him and a few others. And get this, even a doctor that belonged to a hospital was arrested in the mix. So a doctor was the one seeing these patients that would them kind of being hurt, that would give them the insurance money for them to do the next brake check. Boy, I tell you, justice for all. But now, are we seeing that uh, these X-rays? Is it justice? Well, they lived. Even though they lived, and some of them were wrongfully done. The ones that like the magnets to the kids, they called a recall, and the company did pay the family for all their medical issues. So, all right, that is it, and we got me and William coming up, or William coming up with his show in about 15 minutes. So come on back tomorrow. Tomorrow we will have uh, we'll be back with weather and lifestyle news, but then I'll finish the very last part with the corruption of the elite corruption. And then we'll be done. We'll be on to the rest of the week. All right, folks, subscribe and hit the like button. Boy, Karen, did you like that? I bet everybody could have went on with about 10 more of them. I know I was. When I kept finding them, there was at least 10 more I could have done, but I only got about 40 minutes for the show. Maybe I'll come on back and show you all of them, the ones I didn't show you on another show. So share this and subscribe and tell your family and friends about us. Hit that like button. And of course, throw it in the comments which one was your favorite. I don't know if you could have a favorite with this, but the one you like the most. Boy, so share our show today and say, look at what Ellie does. All right, folks. So with that, we will see you all tomorrow. And also, come on back in about 15 minutes for me and William, or William. I have to say William show. I can't add myself into William's show. He's got some news for you today. And, we got this week planned. So come on back and share it. Like, hit the bell, because YouTube is being weird. Yeah. All right.